Welcome to another unboxing and another book for the retro shelf. So this is one I've been waiting for some time now, and it was a Kickstarter project. So I'll open up, and first we'll take a look at this rather fancy embossed Arcade Decades bookmark with the Numskull Gaming logo on there. So that's really cool extra that comes with it. And as you can see, this is Arcade Decades, written by Kim Justice in association with Numskull Publishing. So there's details repeated on the side, and on the back we have: enter a world of sticky carpets, smoky air, loud noises, and battered change machines with Arcade Decades 80s edition, the first volume in a series of books that opens up the doors to a long-gone world where the arcade was king, filled with experiences that you couldn't get in the home. Arcade Decades brings 100 of the best machines from this decade together, covering all the hills and the valleys that the coin-up world experienced during this time, from the golden age of the early 1980s for a crash in North America and towards a resurgence at the decade's end. There's the experiments with laserdiscs, the huge environmental cabinets that took pride of place on the floor, the legendary games that everyone knows, and those titles that might have slipped through the cracks and are waiting to be discovered in whatever your preference is. Whether it's Pac-Man or Double Dragon, Dragon's Lair, or Afterburner, you'll find games that so many people love and that continue to resonate through the ages. This book features original photography of all 100 feature cabinets, showcasing authentic examples that don't just look good, but have been clearly been played for many years and have the knocks to show for it. The photography is married with detailed descriptions of the games themselves, not just of how they played, but of the stories behind their creation, and of technical details and quirks that may not necessarily be apparent when the games are simply played at home. Complete with profiles of the companies and people involved in the creation of these games, and a glossary of terms that were often used back in the day, Arcade Decades aims not to just tell you about these incredible creations, but to bring you into the world of the 80s arcade. It doesn't matter if you're once an arcade rat or if you're coming in fresh-faced and wide-eyed. What game are you going to play first? Let's open it up. End papers, gorgeous screenshots there, and the signature from Kim. The Pac-Man QC, published by Numskull Publishing, designed by Carl Mizzen, written by Kim Justice, proofreaders Mike Diver and Darren Brown. Special thanks to Andy Brown at Replay Events, Andy Palmer at Arcade Club. Additional thanks Chris Hill and Chris Wilkins. Photography Anthony Graham. 2025 Rubber Road Limited. So these are the contents. There's an A to Z of companies. The arcades 80, 81 by year, hidden treasures, some lesser known games there, and finally Who's Who. And then of course the list of Kickstarter backers. It's the introduction from Kim, and then we go into the companies. So we start off with Atari, very cool detail there, Bally Midway, Capcom, Centauri, and there's a Gyrus cabinet there. Hunchback from Century, Dragon's Lair from Cinematronics, Data East, Exidy, Gottlieb, of course, perhaps more famous as a pinball manufacturer. Gremlin Industries, who were taken over by Sega. Ikigami Sushinki, important company. Irem, Jaleco, and that's from Exerion. Good game, I like Exerion a lot. Kaneko, Konami, Leyland, Super Off-Road being one of their most famous games there. Namco, that will be a Dig Dug cabinet. Nihon Busan, Nintendo, Sega themselves, Sente Technologies, and then later Bally Sente, SNK, Stern, Taito Tatsumi, Technos, Tecmo, and then Tekken, that they merged with Koei in 2009. Universal, perhaps best known for Mr. Do. Williams Electronics. So then we go into the arcades themselves, and we start with 1980 and of course Pac-Man. So you get a lovely photograph of the cabinet and some details of when it was released, published by, developed by. Missile Command. Battlezone, that's a stand-up cabinet there. Berserk. Rally X. Phoenix. Good year. 1980. And then Heavy Hitters, Defender. Gorf, one of the first arcade games I ever played. And of course it speaks to you. Scramble. Good close-ups of the control panels there. Centipede. The classic Donkey Kong, developed by Igami Toshingi. Frogger. Published by Konami, Sega and Gremlin. Gallagher. Tempest, one of my favourites. Superb vector game. Turbo. Bosconian gets forgotten a bit these days. 1982 with Zaxxon, diagonal isometric game there. Miss Pac-Man. Dig Dug. Robotron 2084. Moon Patrol. Jungle King. Donkey Kong Jr. from Iwasaki Electronics. Tron. Now, I definitely remember playing Tron myself, based on the film. Very cool. 4 separate mini games. Joust. Not many games have a flap command. Burger Time. Mr. Do, there we go. Good fun. Pole Position, again, another early game I played. That huge cabinet. Pengo. Qbert. Bump and Jump. Time Pilot. Great game. We travel through time, shoot down enemies. Then Millipede, sequel to Centipede. Popeye, also from Nintendo. Xavius, and into 1983. So Hunchback from Century, which is originally going to be a Robin Hood game. Sinistar, again another game that speaks to you. Congo Bongo from Sega. Gyrus, another one I love playing. I first played it on a ferry, North Sea ferry, going over to Sweden. Mappy. The Star Wars beautiful cockpit cabinet there. The control panel, the control yoke there. Elevator Action from Taito. Mario Brothers from Nintendo. Zookeeper from Taito. Now, this is one I do love, one I've discovered in recent years and through emulation. Great fun game, that. Spy Hunter. Interesting there to see it with the handlebar controls. Dragon's Lair. Crystal Castles. Track and Field. Juno First. Again, this is one I got into later, thanks to the Llamasoft forum. Great shoot 'em up. Into 1984. So we got Atari Firefox. Punch Out from Nintendo. Return of the Jedi, again from Atari. Pac-Land from Namco. Kung Fu Master. Marble Madness. And we have Paperboy with its unique handlebar controls there. Commando. Nemesis stroke Gradius. Peter Packrat, which is an unusual one. That got a home computer version years later. Sega Hang On, the original version. Ghosts and Goblins. Speed Buggy, which later also known as Buggy Boy. Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. The classic Space Harrier. Gauntlet, fascinating game. Up to 4 people at once. Russian Attack, known as Green Beret in Europe. 1986 then. We've got Arkanoid with its spinner control. Ikari Warriors with its rotating joystick. Rampage, up to 3 players on that one. The classic Outrun from Sega. Rolling Thunder. 720 Degrees. Zybots, which again got this twist and turn control method. Contra, converted as Grisor in Europe, or Probotector. Road Blasters from Atari. Double Dragon, the original cabinet there. R-Type, 1943, follow up to 1942. All Points Bulletin, fascinating game that, really enjoy it. and love playing the Commodore 64 conversion. Afterburner from Sega, the amazing Operation Wolf. Pac-Mania, I do love Pac-Mania with its isometric scrolling and the little interludes. Shinobi from Sega, the one that got a good home conversion. Xenophobe, up to 3 players in the arcade, 2 players at home. Into 1988, Blastroids, the updated Asteroids. Hot Rod from Sega, top-down rally game. Silkworm from Tecmo, also got good conversions. Bad Dudes vs Dragon Ninja. Vindicators, got my tank tracks on the base of the cabinet there. Altered Beast from Sega. Chase HQ, and there's the standing version. You could also get the sit-down cabinet, and the lights and sirens go at the top there. Got the gear changer there. Power Drift from Sega. Again, I've only ever seen the sit-down version. I don't think I've ever seen a stand-up cabinet for that one. Tubin from Atari Games. It's got in the full-size cabinet, it's got an interesting effect here where they're rotating light to make a waterfall effect. Robocop from Data East, developed at the same time as the Ocean game, but separately. Golden Axe from Sega, of course, with the 3 different characters, the magic you can collect. Tetris, now that's Atari Games Tetris. There's a long history about how that came to happen. Hard Driving, also from Atari Games, 3D polygons. And there's Off-Road from Leland, stroke Trade West. Great cabinet, 3-player steering again. Stun Runner. Teenage Mutant Hero Turtles from Konami, as it was known in the UK. Ninja Turtles elsewhere. And now some hidden treasures. Always good to highlight some other games here. So we've got Armor Attack, Demon's World from Toaplan, and Don Dokodan. That's a favourite of mine, Tato. Exterminated from Gottlieb, Flicky from Sega. Heavy Metal, iRobot, I'm Sorry. Journey, based on the rock band. Jungler, Maze Invaders. Mikey from Konami. Ordine, good shoot 'em up that. Psychonix Oscar, which would go on to inspire the Turrican games. Quantum from Atari, where you're trying to capture particles with a trackball. Sun Dragon from Jaleco. Snacks and Jackson. Sonson from Capcom. I do like Sonson, good fun game. Us vs M and Valkyrie no Densetsu, The Legend of Valkyrie. And then a quick look at Who's Who, some famous names in arcade creation. So Bill Adams, Donna Bailey, Mark Cerny, Brian Collin, Warren Davis, Rick Dyer, Noah Falstein, Jamie Fenton, Takara Fujiwara, George Gomez, Eugene Jarvis, of course, Shigeru Miyamoto, Ed Rotberg, Yu Suzuki. So great to see that section as well. Some interesting names there. Dave Führer, who did Tempest, of course. And then finally the Kickstarter backers. So I'm going to be over here under A. And you see quite a lot of people back this one. So a big thank you to Numskull and Kim Justice for another great book to add to the retro shelf. Stay tuned to the channel for more unboxing, retro shelf merch stand and gameplay videos.